Welcome to O-Talkin' with Dave. Put your hands together for the pastor of positivity whose glass is always at least half full. Here's Dave.
Hey, how we doing out there? I hope you're doing well. I am top shelf. Top shelf. Well, it's Friday. I don't know when this is coming out, but it's probably not going to be on a Friday, but it's Friday to me, and I got a lot of good stuff going on. I'm excited. Thanks for reaching out. A lot of you are coming up with some good stuff. Some what would we call it? Unique content. And I've talked about fears and phobias and all sorts of things out there. But I'm getting a lot of discussion around talents, gifts, skills, whatever you want to call it. We're going to talk through that. And people either, they think they have it and they don't. Karaoke. Or they want it, or they want to build it, or they have it, but they're too shy. All this stuff, which is great. At least you're thinking. But I've heard it, growing up in church, everybody... Spiritual gifts, the gift of discernment, the gift of whatever. I have the gift of bacon and bloat a lot. Those are the gifts that keep on giving. But the talent or a gift, and I like to call it a gift. I really do, and I'll talk through that a little bit more. But we're given things by whoever you want to think gives this stuff out. But it's exciting to me because we all have them. A talent or gift, just to put it in context, it's a personal skill or ability. I'll say it's natural. It's something that's just natural. Now, you can build skills. You can do all of that. You can become better at something. But I think it's just something, maybe an instinctive thing, an instinctive capacity to perform a task. I have the gift of gab. Some would say, no, you don't. Anyway, but these things they can have such a positive effect on other people, whether it's performing or, the gift of, I'll call it even the gift of compassion. My wife has a gift of listening, and it can be a curse. Quite honestly. However, I think that it comes in many shapes and forms. But to me, a gift, there's certain characteristics or traits. And one would be, I think it's just an innate ability, something you're born with. I really do. For example, a knack for music. Both of my sisters took piano lessons briefly. I listened to them, and I just went in and started playing what they were playing. I had that. Not that I'm good, but I could hear it, and I would just play it. I took a couple of piano lessons, and the teacher, Linda, bless her heart, just said, I can't teach this guy. Not because I was good, just because I would go straight to what it sounded like versus what it said on the paper. So, some people have a knack for music. Other people are just athletic. Have you ever met that person who you want to show them a new game, and then they beat you at it? No matter what it is, they're just athletic. They're good at everything. And then, I don't have this gift, but I've met some people who have gift for academics. Maybe it's math. It just clicks with them from the very beginning. God bless those people. That ain't me. I'll tell you, I'm fascinated with math, not enough to do it well. And then, as with technology, I don't need to know. I don't need to know it. But some people, they're blessed with it. So I think it's an innate ability. Another thing would be, I think it shows up early. You have prodigies who are just naturally good at stuff. And there are gifts, and then I don't know if this is a gift or not. I don't know how to describe it otherwise. We had some friends in Kentucky. We were married, moved straight to Kentucky, stayed there a year. I've got family there, all the history. Anyway, we met these people whose child, I think he was 5 at the time, he could look at something, and not only did he remember it, but it would, like, he would go around in the parking lot, at the church parking lot, and look at the tags, the car tags. And then he would wake up on any given morning and say, okay, that car, it belongs to that person. Their tag expires this month. Oh, stop it. No, I'm serious. This kid could do it. You could also, same kid, 5 years old. You could tell my birthday is 3/27/65. Mark that calendar. I will accept. I'll put my Venmo QR code somewhere on the website, and you can just send me birthday money. Anyway, you could tell this 5-year-old kid your birth date, and he could tell you what day of the week it was on. Stop it. Are you kidding me? And you could check it. I didn't know what day I was born. Look at it. I mean, just boom, like that, like Rain Man type stuff. So I don't know if that's a gift or not. I don't know what else to call it. But a lot of times early in life, without a lot of coaching or practice or things like that, these gifts show up. Yeah. Also, a gift can be a really rapid learning curve. You know, a lot of talents, you pick it up and over time, practice. Well, some people, they go from a novice to an expert very quickly. I've seen this with computer, I call them nerds affectionately. But, you know, they really catch on. They have that gift, that talent. It's almost effortless for them. You know, it's just easy. It's just other people may struggle. Other people their age and in their initial skill level, they just fall by the side because they just catch on. And then I think a lot of creativity wise, you know, you've got just some instincts there. Talented people, they innovate or come up with other solutions where other people just, you know, they're followers. And not that these gifted or talented people are great leaders. Some of them not. Some of them are not. They're very introverted. However, they are thought leaders or innovation leaders, or their creativity, music. Oh my goodness. You know, you hear a lot of people that wrote songs at a very early age. You know, my friend Mac McAnally, some of his very intricate, one of his earliest songs, I think it's the first song he ever wrote, was very sophisticated and well beyond his years. And clearly he's got the gift. But talent, I don't think talent is always the same as skill, because you can build on skill. You need to have some talent, but you can build on skill through practice and discipline. And, you know, even the most gifted individuals, sometimes, you know, they need to work to refine it, but you've got that starter, you've got that nucleus of a gift or a talent. So when you think about what do people think about when you break down talent, passion, discipline, and how do they relate? So talent, I'll come in with that. It's just that natural ability, like a child who can play music from the very beginning. You know, I'm not bragging about my musical ability, because I was playing, I think the song was "Snug as a Bug in a Rug." Stop it. I can play it right now. I promise I could. Da 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 da. I don't know the words, but that's it. You know, just effortless. Now, a lot of people get confused. You know, talent is limited so much that if you don't use it, you can lose it. Foreshadowing, that's coming up later. Passion, a lot of people will say, but I love it so much. I have so much passion. That doesn't mean it's necessarily talent. Passion is strong, a strong emotional drive. You got a ton of enthusiasm. You know, someone is excited about it and they want to do it, and they want to sing, they want to write, they want to hike, they want to rock climb. They see a mountain. I want to get to the top of that. That's passion. And it's passion is fuel for motivation. I love it. It drives that passionate person. You need those people on your team. You need those people in your life because they're the ones that they get you excited. They get you going. But if you don't if you don't have the skill or the talent or the discipline, that can be frustrating. If it's all passion, if it's all sizzle and no steak, it can be frustrating. Also, discipline plays a role in this. The ability to consistently put forth the effort. To practice. You're talented, and the difference in this is going to be practice or self-control, saying no to this so you can do this. And that passion can drive that. That emotional drive can sometimes drive the discipline, and that's absolutely awesome. But to practice every day. I didn't practice piano. That's why I was limited. I was limited to ear stuff, and I can play my part. I can do this. I can fake it till I make it. Yeah. However, if you want to be considered very skilled or very talented, you got to have discipline. Yeah, that's what drives execution. Where motivation is the fuel for passion, discipline is the fuel for that execution. And without it, you're going to be stagnant in whatever skill or talent you have. So see, it's not just a God-given skill. You got to put these things behind it. And there needs to be a degree of intelligence. That capacity to take on and understand and apply some reasoning to all of this. Yeah, I want to get to the top of the mountain. All right, well, let's just think about this. Dave, come on. Let's think about this. Oh, you really want to? You're willing to do whatever it takes? You may have to train for weeks or months before you even go to the mountain. That's that intelligence working in. And if it's not there, it can take away from that emotional drive. So intelligence is important, some degree of intelligence. And then the way they work together, if you look at it, and I'm posting just a meme on this. Talent plus discipline, boom. You're going to master something. If you got the discipline and the talent, you're going to master it. Passion plus discipline, that's going to build resilience. You're going to be tough because you're fired up and you're willing to do the work. That's great. Talent plus passion, that's just going to give you natural momentum. You're good at it and you love it. That's going to create some natural momentum. And then intelligence plus discipline, that's more of a strategic thing. You may not even be talented, but that's going to lead you somewhere. You're going to be very valuable to a team or to people that may have more talent, but they don't have that intelligence or the discipline. So talent and the gift that we're talking about, that you got a head start. It's great. You've got a head start, but passion will keep you going. And discipline gets you to the finish line. And then intelligence makes you pick the right road, the right path. So all of that works together. It's exciting. However, we're talking about that head start. You've already got the gift. You've been given the gift. So what are some of the most sought after gifts? If you could do whatever, and these are in no particular order. Excuse me. Still got the cough. I have the gift of this cough that I'd like to get rid of. So let's talk about them. One thing, and these are broad gifts. These are broad, but like people would love to be charismatic. Have that social charisma, the ability to connect, to persuade. They want to be liked. They want confidence. Some of them want to be leaders, but you meet somebody and there's just something about them. I talk about it in Don't Give Away Your Power. That's more of, even if you have this charisma, how not to give it away. This is more, people want that. And have you ever met somebody, they just got it? They could say the same thing somebody else says, but oh, wow. They may not There are people, think about it. Think about some musicians who don't have the best singing voice, but their stage presence. Wow, that's that charisma. So that's one of the things, the gift of charisma. Then there's creativity. A lot of artists, growing up, we had a dear friend of the family. Her name was Nina, and she was an artist. I remember one time I was little, in just no time, she's over in the corner with a pencil and tore out a sheet of paper and gave it to me. She drew Santa Claus real quick. It's beautiful. I mean, but black and white, of course, black and white and gray and shading and all that. The creativity to think it, she saw it in her head. I love these people who are creative with music. I love the music. When lyrics get me, that's something, because I'm not a lyric guy. I love the melody. I love a good piano piece. I also love the crunch. The crunch of a guitar and a Marshall. The thing is, I did a speech one time in college, and I talked about music and how crazy it is, because in the history of music, you've only got so many notes. You've only got so many notes. Every musical composition has used the same notes, yet it still keeps coming and coming and coming. I mean, I look over there at the scale on my keyboards right now. I mean, you got 8 notes, and then you got sharps and flats and all that. It's the same notes from the beginning of time. They don't make new notes. Creativity and talent to work with these same things and make something new. That's fantastic. And some people just don't have it. But that desire to be able to express themselves by writing, I love certain poetry. I'm not a big poetry reader. Big into Dr. Seuss. Love it. Love it. Cat in a Hat. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, but that to be unique now with creating music. It's fantastic. And that, ironically, some of the most creative people have no charisma. They don't want to be on stage. They don't want that. They're scared to death. I mean, some of the top front men had to get through stage fright, and they don't want to be in the spotlight. There's still people like that. So charisma, creativity. One thing, public speaking. They wish they could speak in public. It used to be the number one fear. You'd rather die than speak in public. I used to be that way. Now I'm try to keep me off a stage, please. If there's a microphone in the room, I'm gonna find. It's not that bad, but just to be able to have the confidence and the clarity of mind to be able to get up in front of a group and talk or lead or MC or host or something. A lot of people, it's. They want to be part of it. Then some people, they just want to be heard. I got something to say. And I want to be able to say it. I want to be able to communicate with a group. I want to be respected. I want to be impactful. I have a cause. That's fantastic. So that's one of the gifts that is sought. I really talked a lot about music when I talked about creativity, just because it's such a big part of my life. But the musical ability, that's sought after. Either playing an instrument or being able to sing well. Oh, I wish I could sing well. I can do backup, and I can make guttural noises in a microphone. The old Baptist thing, and I think David Ring said it first. I sang a lot in church. I played and sang in church growing up. It wasn't because of my ability. It was because I was willing, my availability. But to have that, I wish, it'd be great if I had a great singing voice. Just the romantic notion of being able to, my buddy James, lead singer for Barbara, has got a fantastic voice. And when we'll start playing a song, but when he starts singing, everybody's just like, whoa, because he's that gifted and talented. Then the athletes. Some people want to be a great athlete. Whether maybe a particular sport, or maybe it's strength or endurance or whatever. Maybe it's for health reasons. Athletes are admired. Athletes are celebrities now, or maybe it's just to win a competition, but they want to be athletic. And then others go the intellectual side. Not that athletes don't have the intellect, but you really don't think of it that way. but that thirst for knowledge, problem solving, just that, just more and more and more. I've known people like this in my life, and it's not just academic success. A lot of it is that. It's not just the letters behind or in front of their name or social status, but that's part of it. And a lot of those people, they get that, but, the public speaking's not there. Or maybe it is. Or maybe there's not any of these other traits, but just wanting that gift. And then you've heard natural born leaders. I believe that. I can look in different social groups, mine and my kids and my wife's. I can be around them with no one telling me who is who, and I can tell who the leader is. Yeah, just natural born. And that serves you well through your life. And I believe a lot of that, it's just a gift. Then some people have that intuition as a gift. Being able to read people, seeing flags where no one else does. Sometimes it's creepy. I knew a lady one time that she had, I don't know, everybody thought she was a witch. A witch! I didn't. I hung out with her because I was like, oh, how did she know that? I got to get closer to, I want to determine what's going on here. And she just had her gut feeling. Most of the time it was right. And I say most of the time, I don't know when it wasn't. And then let's get off that creepy topic to artistic skill. Drawing, painting, interpreting. Some people can look at a painting and they aren't painters at all, but they see things no one else does. It can be the shading. It can be what brings that to life. What does that mean? They can speak to what that painting is saying to them in a way that's wow. So that's got communication. That is artistic skill. They have an admiration for a person being able to recreate something in their mind. I just absolutely love it. I don't have it. I can't foresee how a room is going to look with the furniture rearranged. You know how much trouble that's costing me in my life? Oh, not trouble, effort. You move the furniture, I don't like it, let's move it back. That type of stuff. And unfortunately, my wife doesn't have that either, so we move a lot of stuff around. And then this is the last one. I don't think it's rated last because it's one of the most desired, but a sense of humor. To be naturally funny or quick-witted, to come back, boom. I like to be a counterpuncher. Often it's said, the stuff I say under my breath when I'm doing a presentation is funnier than the presentation. And I don't seek to be funny. As a matter of fact, that's hurt me many times because I'm serious. But something in my delivery makes people laugh. Maybe the content. Maybe the fact that I am serious is hilarious. However, but I think a sense of humor is just universally appreciated. It's a magnet. And I've done so much on laughter. I hold back on doing more on the importance of laughter. But I believe it is. It's the closest point between two people. If two people are laughing at something, let's start with that. But see, a lot of people, all of these different things, they want them. Not just for personal fulfillment, but, they connect things with it, whether it's status or social aspects. Maybe they want to do it for an income, or maybe that's just, or a profession, or maybe it's just, that's how they want to be identified. I like it. And I don't think that's off. I think there are probably, in those 10 things I said, probably 10 under each one that are offshoots of that. And there's a lot I didn't. If you have a desire, if you're gifted in some way, let me know. And if there's a gift you don't have, what would that be? Hit me up, email me, let me know. So there's some people who think they're talented in certain areas and they're not. There are some people who don't realize how talented they are in other areas. I think natural comes into this, and discovering that. So how or what tells you where your gifts or your talents are? I mean, what am I gifted at? Let me think about that. Well, let's just think through them. Let's just talk through them. What's easy? What do you think is no big deal, but other people are going, wow. Think about that for a second. It just comes natural to me. And everybody else is just like, man, how'd you do that? Yeah, I don't know. Wasn't that hard? I've seen people do that in sports before, but I've also seen people with puzzles, just doing a puzzle. A Rubik's Cube. I'm still working on my first Rubik's Cube. I mean, without taking the stickers off and reapplying. Please. Some people are just, boom. Talent hides behind, a lot of times, your own boredom. Because it's easy to you. You may be so talented at something, but that's so easy it's not even a challenge. That's where the practice and determination and passion would come in. But if it's super easy to you, okay, let's think about that some more, because that's a talent. That could be the gateway to a greater talent. So we talked earlier about rapid progress. What things are you just really picking up quick? You may not be great at first, but wow, all of a sudden, this just comes easy to you. Yeah, it could be a foreign language. It could be many things. Real talent shows a very, very early, steep learning curve. You get it? Steep not as in uphill and tough, meaning boom, you're just progressing along. And if you go from beginner to expert quickly, okay, that is more than just aptitude. That's a talent. That's a gift. And it can come out of nowhere. Then another thing, listen to people. Get their feedback. What are constant compliments? Even if not ones you're asking for, please. If several people are saying, hey, you're really good at taking a complex situation and explaining it to where anybody can understand it. What a talent. That's fan. I know some people that way. I know some CFOs that could not explain simple math, or they would explain things to the point that it was so complicated that nobody got it. Then I've seen others take the most complicated thing and it sounds like a nursery rhyme. Yeah. So if you keep getting feedback like that, so that's just not one off. 3 different people have said that. All right. Well, cool. And then you can decide how to use it. Also, when you're doing something and you're enjoying it and you just lose track of time, they call that the flow state. I know early on when I first had a 4-track recorder, me and my brother-in-law, Robert, we went in the other room and we skipped lunch. And before we knew it, we hadn't eaten. We hadn't taken a bathroom break. Boy, couldn't do that right now. But time just flew by because the passion was there and we were engrossed. A lot of times talent does that to you. You're so aligned with an activity, it's effortless and it's play. I've known people who are doing what I would consider hard work. It's play to them. And you're probably more skilled at that than you realize. You get in the zone. That's probably a gift. So dig in on that a little bit more. And then another thing is just stripping away any ego or fantasy or visions of grandeur. What are you actually doing consistently? I mean, you may want to be a great novelist, but your real gift may be storytelling in a conversation instead of on paper. So you want to be, when I say strip away ego and fantasy, I want to be a novelist. I want to write for this. I've known people who have gone to Hollywood and tried to write scripts and whatever. It's not there. Their gift is in telling a story in a conversation. Their gift would be more networking and being able to create some enthusiasm for the real artist. Ooh, that hurt. Real artist? That is so necessary because this person may not have that gift. Talent lives in your action. Let's say that again. Talent lives in the action, not in the aspiration. You may want to do this, but your talent is the activity around it. And that's important, because if you're following an aspiration and that's not where your talent is, that can be frustrating. Find your true talents and gifts. It takes some honest observation, not the wish list, not the trying to build an identity. It's what comes natural. That's why it's a gift. So let's talk about 3 ways dealing with, and I mentioned the word frustration. Let's just talk about dealing with the frustration of lacking a talent that you want. That aspiration that's not real. You just don't have it. Now, skills, you can get better at something. I want to be a great tennis player. Well, I can get better at tennis. There's a big difference between really good and great. Some have said I'm a good tennis player. You put me up against a really good tennis player. I've got the scores to show you. So let's deal with the frustration of lacking a desired talent. First of all, you gotta deal with it. You gotta mourn that fantasy. Mourn it. Don't marry it. These people, there's a lot of money lost and a lot of frustration with people who marry the fantasy. Yeah, mourn that thing. It's just not meant for you. And by mourn it, I mean let yourself be disappointed. Yeah, but that's not your identity. Failure at this is not your identity because it was a fantasy to begin with, okay? You got to deal with that. I'm not a great singer. I'll never front a band. I'll never have people just be in awe of my voice. I got it. There are karaoke stages across the country. Go up there and have a good time. Don't sing a tearjerker to mama. Come on. Let the pros do that on the radio. And part of the mourning is mourning. It's okay to say, I'll never be a great singer. What matters is what I do with the energy and the passion that I was going to use to be a great singer. Now, where am I going to focus? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to use that passion for good. So I got to unbundle all of this in my mind that said I was going to be a great singer. Why do I want that talent? Why do I want to be a great singer? Is it the attention? Is it so I can express a message? Is it so I can influence people? Why? Why do I have that desire? And this can be for anything. Why do I want to be that leader of that group? Why do I want to be a fantastic golfer? Why do I want Husband of the Year award? What is this? And then chances are there's another path to the same feelings you're seeking. Yeah, I don't have to be the singer. I can be the best cowbell player in Southern California. I probably get more attention that way. I know I make more racket. Okay, so mourn that fantasy. Unbundle the desire. Why do you want it? And then, this is tough. This shows maturity. Practice the admiration of people that have that talent without the envy. Learn to say, wow, that is an incredible voice, an incredible singer, an incredible message. Look at everybody. They're captivated by that without saying, God, I wish that was me. Or, and I can't do that. It's not about you. It's not about you. That's when you know you've gotten there, when you can admire it without envy or jealousy. Talent in others, that has nothing to do with you. Their talent doesn't point at your failure. Talents and gifts, it's a menu. It's a buffet line. True, I like to get a little bit of everything. That's not the way it is in the real world, but there's something on that buffet that pertains to me and is delicious. I just got to find it. All right. Now, the second part of this would be, okay, I do have talents. How do I expand those and maybe get some of the feelings that I wanted from the talents I don't have? You gotta double down in some areas. What are you strong at? You know, you go from I'm pretty good at this. We'll go from good to unignorable. No one can ignore this gift. You know, a deep gift or talent can open more doors than 10 mediocre talents. So work on it. Double down on it. You know, you're good at this. You're clearly good at this. For all those reasons we said earlier. All right, you know what? I'm going to get better. I'm going to get the best. For whatever passion or intellect or whatever is driving this, the discipline, I'm going to do what it takes. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the best in my group. I'm going to be the best in the county. I'm going to be the best in this region. You know what? I'm going to be undeniably the best at this. That's what drives some people to great heights and whatever. And it's not, you don't forsake your morals or your integrity. You're just doubling down on what you're good at. And then you got to cross-pollinate that, meaning you're blending the talents that you have and the skills that you're acquiring. I mean, if you're great at writing, and then let's just say you add a skill, you learn some basic animation, stick figures to go along with the story. Now, okay, I can write and illustrate. And that's two ways to get your point across. And that's going to stand out. It's not two words. Two names. It's one. I can't sing, but I can write. And I know what sounds good, so I can produce. And then I find that voice, boom, brings my music to life. That kind of thing. Cross-pollinate these talents, and you'll find that you're good at more things. And then share it. Don't hold back. Some people are holding back such great gifts. Hiding it under a bushel, if you will. But teach it. Teach what you're good at. That sharpens it too, because you're going to have people coming back at you. And out of repetition, you'll get better. Plus, it builds a community around your strengths. It does. Oh, I can say that. Oh, I've been fortunate enough to have people like what I say, and they tell somebody else. It's crazy. At first, it was a little off-putting, but when I show up and start some of my colloquialisms and people finish them, I'll say, "Hey, how y'all doing?" And people go, "Giddyup, top shelf." I start hearing this stuff, and it's like, I love that. People are catching on. So, cool. I promise I won't sing. And then the third part would be creating that balance. What's the balance between balancing your gifts and remaining productive? I think this, you got to keep your humility. Oh, you will be humbled. Well, both ways, but you will be. But I'll say serve, don't just show. And by that I mean, instead of look what I can do, say, anybody need this? As a speaker, that's huge. I can show up and fill an hour. Yeah. But does anybody need this? Yeah. I can fill your slot. No problem. And I'm reasonable. Yeah. But do your people need this? That's one of the first things I say. What do your people need? What's this group need? You got 160 podcasts here. These are topics. Also do this, and I can do that. Sometimes you're throwing that whole buffet out. What do they need? And the beautiful thing is a hybrid comes up, and then I can use my talent to do that. So you shift from performance to purpose. It's more satisfying. It's more sustainable. Everybody's going to get more out of it. So I'm not just talking about me now. I'm talking about when you focus on the gift and getting better, share it. Share it. You have no idea who's going to hear it and how that's going to touch them. Yeah. Another thing, set your own metrics. Don't look at external validation all the time. because they'll love you and hate you. Look at the stock market. You can't base economic soundness on the stock market. It's up and it's down. People's opinions are up and down. You can't base your social media relevance based on how many likes you get on your last post. A lot of times that's what this is like, looking for external metrics. Define success through consistency and satisfaction, usefulness, not applause. I had a comic one time. He made an observation. People clapped. He went, "I'm not here to make you clap. I'm here to make you laugh. I don't want you to agree with me. I want you to laugh." That's what this is about. Don't gauge anything solely on external forces. And then I think it's very important to pace yourself. Not everything has, even if you're great at it, it may take a little bit of time to get where you want to go. You know, you get points for passion and service. You get points for, hey, maybe it's an income. Yeah. Respect and longevity kick in when you start to really use that gift to fulfill a purpose. You don't need every gift, just the ones you got. Some of them you need to build on. If you don't have it, there's nothing to build on. Let's build on the ones we have first and use this stuff and master them. But if you're not passionate about it, it's a little bit tough, for sure. So here's a few reasons to share, other than what I said earlier. It's not all about you, you know? It ain't all about you. So let's just go over 5 reasons to share your gifts instead of keeping them to yourself. This is big. This is why you have the gift. It's the gift that keeps on giving. You know, it's more blessed to give than to receive. Okay. Plug in whatever you want right there. That's coffee, by the way. Okay. First thing, why do you need to give your gift? Give it away. Impact others. Other people out there need to hear what you got to say. They need your skills. They need your contribution. This could be inspiring. It could educate them. It could uplift them. They need this. Think about people who have done this to you in the past. Who's your favorite musical artist? Who's your favorite teacher? Who's somebody you just like to be around? When you leave them, you feel better than when you got with them to begin with. You know why? They shared their gifts. Even a small act, something small, can change somebody's day, can change somebody's life. I met Mac McAnally playing Frisbee golf. I didn't know who he was, just this big red-headed dude in overalls in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, before I even heard his music. And his music's changed my life. And I wonder if I would still like it, but I listened to it differently because of the humble guy I met who could throw a Frisbee a half a mile. So your impact on others, that's why you need to share your gifts. Also, people grow personally through sharing their gifts. When you share what you know, I've always said you solidify your understanding and or you get other perspectives or other techniques or, that can shape where you go, how you use the passion, the discipline around your gifts. Teaching forces people to clarify and deepen their own mastery of their gifts. That's fantastic. I love it. So that's another reason to grow your teaching. Grow through teaching, and it grows the gift. Also, share it because it creates opportunities. Visibility, that's going to bring opportunity. When you showcase, and showcase doesn't have to be flamboyant and look at me. We already talked about that. It brings other people. It brings like-minded people, whether it's to collaborate or maybe a client or maybe someone to coach you. It's fantastic. And it builds that strong circle, too, of like-minded people. It opens doors that nothing else would do because you're not isolating, you're uplifting someone with this talent. And clearly you have it. And it builds that community, that connection with people. When you share that, you will make genuine connections. I remember one time I had a shirt on. It wasn't my shirt. I think I borrowed it, and we went somewhere, and it had a flying saucer on it. And we were going to this place to eat lunch, and this guy saw my shirt, and he went, "Oh, are you a believer?" And I was like, I believe I need a table and some bacon and probably that bread pudding I saw on the menu on the way in. But no, he saw that flying saucer, and he's part of a community that's deep into that. So when you share your skill or talent or gift, it's going to draw that community, and you have something in common. That's art or music or thoughts or any kind of leadership or career, anything like that. It builds a community. And here's another thing, and not to put a negative twist on this, not to put conflict in here, but it might not be yours forever. Talent or a gift? Sometimes it can be like a flame, a flicker, a bottle rocket. It's yours. Let's see how you use it. Are you a good steward? I'm not going to get biblical on you, but I could. Are you a good steward of this gift? You're not the owner. It's a gift. And it's maybe yours for a short period of time. Keeping it to yourself is a great way to lose it. It limits its potential. But spread it. Use it. Build it. Invest in it. And that can create some longevity. I know a lot of people, the old saying, a person who doesn't read is no better off than a person who can't read. I believe a person who has a talent or a gift and doesn't use it is no better off than the person who doesn't have it. So that's important. You got to share them. You got to give it away. It's very important. It's very important. So I don't take it lightly. I think, I know for a fact, we all have gifts. Everybody can hear my voice right now. You have a gift. You have a talent. You have a knack. There's certain things you do that you're given that ability to use. So use it or lose it. But I don't want that to be the sole reason. Use it for other people, for yourself. And it's true. We learned this stuff as a kid. You can't outgive your gift. You can't. You're given this gift. Build it. If you got passion behind it and discipline, you're going to give it away, and then the gift coming back is that enjoyment. It's almost like a chef making a great meal and sitting back in the kitchen. And as the food goes out across the restaurant, people, this is fantastic. And they're laughing and they're having a great time over the atmosphere that he created. Whether it's an introvert who limits the charismatic and broad span of their gift, to the person who can get out in front of 100,000 people and you can hear a pin drop because he captivates them, he or she. It's the same thing. It's just as important. Because you weren't given this gift to not use it, to not build it. And I think it's very strategic, the gifts that we are given. It's very ironic sometimes that this introvert who stays in their basement playing video games all the time might have the best voice that's never been heard. So hopefully this gets through. Hopefully I've hit the mark for those of you who sent the emails wanting this. I've enjoyed talking about it. I really have. So hit me up at dave@otalks.com or david@otalks.com. Tell me what we got. I love the stories of, I didn't even know I was good at this, but I discovered that, and this is where that's led me. Hey, sometimes it's a sign. It's that star you got to follow. Thanks for the support. Thanks for hanging out and hanging on. But most of all, thanks for Talking with Dave. Giddyup.
Hey there. Are you having computer problems and can't get the help you need? Is there a language barrier or other obstacles that make you feel insignificant and unappreciated? We know just how you feel, and we are here to help. We are the Amish Tech Team. The Amish Tech Team is known for their work ethic, quality craftsmanship, and attention to detail. The Amish Tech Team will ride to your house, assess the situation, and leave you feeling good about the experience.
Oh, Jedediah was just a lovely young man. He didn't fix my computer, but he built me a new desk, repaired my roof, and planted 2 rows of corn in the backyard.
All of our technicians at the Amish Tech Team are English speaking, respect traditions, and know their way around a grist mill. Send a letter by mail or carrier pigeon today, and when we get it, we will hop in the first buggy available and head out to your place. And the first 10 requests will get a complimentary jar of sorghum or an Amish Tech Team horseshoe to use as a paperweight. It's a real horseshoe. You don't have to put up with services that put you on hold or talk funny. Contact the Amish Tech Team and we'll be right out as soon as we get your message, and get free of our chores and load up the buggy and travel to your place, depending on traffic and the weather and those dad-blame motorized vehicles and all those bright lights and shiny signs that keep distracting the horse and tempting the youngin'.